What's up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be reacting to the Barcelona news over the past week, where we do have some big topics to discuss. Firstly, Barcelona have been linked with a lot of players, the likes of Mo Salah, Heung-Min's son, Omar Marmoush, and even the return links of Xavi Simons as well. We also have updates around Barcelona's planned January activity, see where the club lies there. We also have two huge updates on players' futures. Firstly, around Andreas Christensen, where the club are open to selling him, but he's making it very clear in the media that he wants to stay. And secondly, on the side of Frenkie de Jong, we are now in the end game. A decision is needed from Frenkie to communicate to Barcelona to stay or to go. The club have now officially withdrew their renewal offer for him. Big updates on those two futures. We have renewal updates on Pedri and Gerard, big injury updates on Araujo and Ansu Fati, and some general news around the club as well, with the stadium, new kit design, and also the animation stand sending out a big letter fighting against Joan Laporta. Before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. Let's try to get to 200 likes on this video. It would be very much appreciated. Also, if you are new, make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Now, before we get into this video is sponsored by Number One Foot. Number One Foot is by far the best replica jersey website on the market, and it's not even close. They have a variety of different items at the absolute best prices. They sent me two kits recently. First one is the retro Barcelona kit, the home kit, which I'm currently wearing right now, and also as well the second kit for that season in the blue edition. Oh my god, like, the stitching is fantastic, the quality is, superb. Feels like I have the actual, original kit for a fraction of the price. And if you use the discount code BOY at checkout, you do get 10% off your order. That's BOY. Use it at checkout, and all orders above $80 as well will receive free shipping. So what are you waiting for? Hit the top link in the description down below and get your new football kits today. Let's start off with the transfer news over the past week. The first topic we're going to discuss is what will Barcelona's January transfer window activity look like. We're just now under a month away from the window opening, and very unlikely Barcelona will do anything. Miguel Rico of Sport came out saying that Barcelona are not expected to make any signings in January. Barca's plan does not include any signings, although there are certain positions on the field the coach would like to see reinforced with players capable of being starters, but those positions are identified and the actions will be taking place in the summer, depending on the club's, of course, financial capacity. Now, wouldn't rule out sales in January. The two main ones I'm really looking at, or three you could say, are Andreas Christensen, Frenkie de Jong, and Eric Garcia. I think contractually and offers that may come in for these three players might change Barcelona's perspective a little bit. I think Flick's point of view is nobody in, nobody out, keeping the same squad. I think Barcelona will probably persuade him to give the green light for a sale if a suitable offer does come in for one of those three players. The three players who feature in the air and, have some sort of market value, both on the transfer fee wise and also attractions from clubs as well. But signings, definitely not going to be happening in January. I think barring a huge season-ending injury from a very, very important player, I doubt we will, but sales could potentially be on the table. Now, one of the priorities for Barcelona in the summer is to reinforce the left wing position, to sign a natural winger on the left-hand side. We, of course, been linked with a lot of names: Kavicia Kvaratskhelia, Rafael Leao, and also Nico Williams. But David Ornstein from The Athletic, who, is probably alongside Romano, one of the best journalists in the world, has come out saying that Nico Williams is very high on FC Barcelona's list of targets in the summer, this past summer, but Barcelona have since moved on from him. Nico is now leaning more towards a Premier League move at the moment if he were to leave Athletic Club. Wowzers! I mean, I will take that, of course, what the club told Nico Williams last summer. The Barca train comes by once. You get on the train now, or it's going to miss it, and you're going to regret it. I have absolutely no problem with this whatsoever. Of course, Nico Williams this season has not done too great. I, of course, watched the game yesterday against Real Madrid, where he didn't play too well, did not look very effective, did not look like the Nico Williams I was twerking for last season or during the Euros whatsoever. And I think, you know what? I love the club staying, on business, on their stance. I think with Nico Williams, he's Spanish, he's friends with half the squad. for team harmony wise, it would have been a really nice signing, and again for 60 million, it's a fair deal as well with that release clause being active. But however, it looks like Barcelona have moved on. We are hearing right now again Rafael Leao being the main name right now being discussed internally between Joan Laporta, Deco, Flick, and of course the super agent himself, Jorge Mendes. So wait and see what happens in the left wing department. Again, very clearly a main priority for Barcelona this summer, but right now Nico Williams' name is falling away from the shortlist. Now, staying on the topic of forwards, we also, alongside the, big name signings like Nico, Leao, and Kvaratskhelia, we've also been linked with other, stopgap signings, you could say, in the winger department in Mohamed, Salah, and Heung-Min Son. But Miguel Rico from Sport has come out saying that Salah and Son are not amongst the Barcelona options due to their age factor. Deco is looking for players with a long future. Could not agree more. The only way I would look at these two players as potential options for Barcelona is if we have absolutely no one. Of course, you have Rafinha, you have Lamine Yamal, who are absolutely balling out right now, so you want to have long-term coverage and competition for those two talents. Salah coming in for a year or two, Son coming in for a year or two, makes no difference whatsoever, because of course, after that year or two, you're going to have to look for another option as well. We already have big-name players to sell shirts as well, Pedri, Xavi, Lamine, Rafinha, Lewandowski, so that could have been a strong argument for Salah or Son, especially Son with that South Korea market. It is absolutely crazy. If you didn't see what Kang In Lee did when he went to PSG, the South Korean fans absolutely tore the market to shreds there in terms of shirt sales, stuff like that. So that could have been an option. Of course, another factor to sign them. Of course, 2 billion players. I think two players definitely capable of playing for Barcelona, of the level of Barcelona, but not players that are worth it. They're going to come in as free agents, ask for a lot of wages. We already, spent the last 4 or 5 years adjusting our wage structure. Why break that for players that are going to come in for a year or two? It might do well, it might do poorly. I fully back Deco in this decision, and right now it looks like Barcelona are not really following the signing of free agents in Mo Salah and Heung-Min Son too closely. But a forward who Barcelona are keeping an eye on is Omar Marmoush. Now, this is coming in from Sport, and again, some other reports in Germany mentioning this as well, that Barcelona are closely following striker Omar Marmoush and even attend the game between Frankfurt and Midtjylland to see him in action. I will say this, look, every time a player in Europe's top 5 leagues does very well, they have a breakout season, they always get linked with Barcelona. A fantastic example of this I can remember off the top of my head was Damsgaard. He had a great season with, I believe, Sampdoria in Serie A, went to the Euros 2021 with Denmark, played really well, was getting linked with Barcelona week in, week out. I think he ended up going to Brentford. I wouldn't look into this too much. Again, we have already a lot of forward options. We have Pau Victor now, who's getting some momentum. You have Ferran Torres. You have Lewandowski. You have Victor Roque on loan as well, who technically still is part of Barcelona's future, but probably won't be long-term. In the striker position, you want to sign a big player. You need to sign someone who's going to sell those shirts and bring in the advertisement and economics, and of course the ability and promise on the pitch as well. And Omar Marmoush is not that. He's a great player. He reminds me a lot of a Antoine Griezmann, Memphis Depay kind of signing. He's not really a natural striker. He's a striker that likes to drop in and roam quite a bit, and you already have that with other options that we already have in the squad. And again, Griezmann to Memphis, you could say overall didn't succeed at Barcelona, and of course I've been very adamant about this on the channel for the past 4 or 5 years. I would stay clear of center forwards, false nines to play in the striker position. It just does not work at Barcelona. We've tried it so many times, so that's why I would say clear of Omar Marmoush. He's a great player, of course, touted at around a 50 million euro transfer fee as well, which I'd rather spend on Leao or fullbacks as well. So I don't see this happening, although there are reports saying that Barcelona are keeping an eye on him. Now, a signing in a position where we need absolutely no reinforcements in whatsoever, a player who was heavily linked with Barcelona last May for the entire month, especially when we had Xavi Hernandez as our manager, has now been re-emerged as yet another option for Barcelona in the future, and that is Xavi Simons. Now, again, David Ornstein from The Athletic, one of the best sources, if not the best source in the world, has come out saying that Barcelona, alongside Arsenal, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, and Real Madrid, are the most probable destinations for Xavi Simons next summer. Again, right now, on loan from PSG to RB Leipzig. Currently, right now, he's injured. I think he will be back until January. He had about a 2-month injury, but in the summer, he wants to leave PSG, and PSG are expected to sell him. Look, I'm not a hypocrite. I've been very consistent on this. I don't think we should be signing any midfielder whatsoever, and I will stand on that. I will stand on business. But, if we sell midfielders, potential Dutchmen, I would be absolutely over this. I think Xavi Simons is an absolutely fantastic player. I think he'd fit the system perfectly well. Coming back home, playing with, all his friends as well, players that he grew up with in the academy. He's definitely on the Barcelona level. Again, last summer, his signing was really attractive because he was available on loan, but this upcoming summer, you're going to have to spend money on him, but we, of course, need a left winger, fullback. So this would be very much a luxury signing. We sign a fullback, we sign a left winger, we have some money left, we need maybe someone to come in the midfield if we sell certain Dutchmen. I think Xavi Simons then works. I wouldn't go for him as a number one priority. I wouldn't spend money on him over other positions, but cheeky little option to have on the table. I think you would definitely pick Barcelona over clubs like Arsenal, Bayern, Liverpool, and Real Madrid if we are interested, of course. So I'll wait and see. Looks like Barcelona are still keeping an eye on how he's doing in RB Leipzig and are still interested in bringing him back. I think he's a fantastic player, but again, I think movements outside of our current midfield will have to happen to make movements, of course, like Xavi Simons inside the midfield. Let's now discuss the players that have been rumored to leave Barcelona over the past week. We have an absolutely monumental update on the future of Frenkie de Jong. Of course, now these reports did come out before his performance against Real Mallorca on Tuesday. These reports came out about at the tail end of last week. Contract update, future update, what's going on right now with Frenkie. It is a very, very delicate situation with his contract, of course, expiring in 2026. So this summer is the final summer to, sell him for some sort of value. Now, firstly, Fernando Polo Mundo Deportivo has come out saying that the contract renewal offer which Barcelona made to Frenkie de Jong at the end of last year has now been officially withdrawn by the club as the player did not accept it. It was for at least 3 more years with no salary reduction. Whoa, whoa, whoa. But Frankie's on 400k a week. He's on 500k a week. Again, false narrative from the media to attack Barcelona players. Whoop-de-doo. The fact that the club are giving him the same salary shows that right now his salary is quite reasonable. I think he earns, according to what I've seen from reliable sources, around 200 to 250,000 euros per week. That's what he's earning about. And again, he's come out in multiple interviews saying that the number that's been put out in the media, the big number, is not true. But now, renewal has been officially withdrawn from Barcelona. Now Barcelona want to reevaluate his performances and see himself make any moves regarding his future. Internally is not ruled out that they will consider not renewing his contract and leaving as a free agent in 2026. But as of now, Barcelona are not putting any pressure on de Jong. But if there are no advancements by the end of this season, the situation will be raised, as it will be, of course, 1 year away from being a free agent. With regards to the renewal offer made by Barcelona, everything will now start from scratch, because the club will no longer consider the last offer valid. So essentially the club has said, you know what, we don't want to wait anymore. You do you go perform this season, you go flop this season, whatever happens, and we'll readjust it when you're ready. Because the club have been pushing, the club have been making movements, have been making renewal offers, and he's been absolutely dead quiet. I fully back the club's decision in this regard to retract the offer and just let it for Frenkie. He can come talk to us when he wants to talk to us. If he does not want to talk to us, we can bench him. We will send him to the stands for the final year of his contract. We will sell him. Of course, with us still having control, we need to use it. Now, Fernando Carrasco Sport came out saying that the Barcelona board is now in favor of selling Frenkie de Jong at the end of the season because his performances have not been as expected since his arrival in 2019. I just want to hold the phone here again. Yet again, more agenda here from the media because he has performed well. If you look at I started doing YouTube when we signed Frenkie de Jong, the season we signed Frenkie de Jong just after COVID when I started. I've done season review videos every single season for Frenkie de Jong. Go look at his ratings, all 7s, 8, and 9s out of 10. Only last season I gave him a 6 because he was out injured basically the whole entire year. He's been one of Barcelona's most consistent players over the past 5 years after Leo Messi. Do not disrespect him like that, saying that, oh, he's not been as good as expected. Oh, Frenkie de Jong's never played in a big game. I can list you 5 big games right now off the top of my head where Frenkie de Jong has performed. So again, maybe he has not, reached the peak of what we expected, but don't tell me he underperformed. That is categorically incorrect. The club sees his contract renewal difficult for many months now and had not responded to their offer. The club fears that he will leave for free in 2026. That is his plan. De Jong currently costs Barcelona around 35 million per season between his salary, the amount that he's deferred during COVID, the amortization of 75 million euro plus variable transfer fee. His possible departure would be good news for FFP. The club also believe they will now be well covered in the midfield with Pedri, Xavi, Olmo, Casado, Bernal, and Heung-Min. And this is where the Xavi Simons argument comes in. You sell Frenkie for 40, 50, use that exact same money to bring in Xavi Simons on lower wages for sure, less amortization for the fee as well. I can see why the club would do that, and I have no qualms about that whatsoever if Frenkie de Jong does not want to stay at the club. Now, Luis Rojo Marca came out saying that Barcelona considered that Frenkie de Jong's salary is too high for a player that has fallen out of favor with the coach, the fans, and is not a starter. They don't rule out letting him leave the club for free during the summer just to save on his salary. This, for me, is fucking crazy. Now, is he on a high salary for being a bench player right now? Absolutely. But so is Xavi. You're about to give Xavi a renewal, probably on more money or on the same money as Frenkie de Jong, and he's not a starter either. So if you're going to keep this agenda, keep it consistent. Look, I'm not sitting here to, dick ride Frenkie de Jong. I want to look at it as a Barca fan. I look at it both ways. Like I said, if the club want to sell him this summer because he does not want to stay, send him back to the Eredivisie. I don't care. I want players who are committed and want to stay at Barcelona. If he's staying quiet, jog on, send him to the stands for the last year of his deal. I don't care. But this agenda narrative from the media does not help anyone. And the sooner you realize that the Spanish media has a lot of power in Barcelona, the better, because the Spanish media dictate a lot of what happens in Barcelona, and you can see that over the past few years. It's very, very evident. Anyways, Barcelona no longer accept a response from Frenkie de Jong to the renewal offer they submitted almost a year ago. There is now no rush to offer him a new contract. He's injury prone, high earner, and now a starter for Flick. All valid points there. Barcelona disappointed with Frenkie de Jong's attitude. The renewal was made to the player, maintained at a very high salary, and the player never even replied. The club also takes a decision on his future at the end of the season. So a lot here he agrees with what Fernando Polo said here in the first report. Initially, the renewal offer was still on a very high salary. They waited a year. He didn't respond, and now they're going to wait until the end of the season. That is the club's now perspective. All this first part in the section of his report is pure agenda. The last part is where he has sense. Injury prone, yes. High earner, yes. Another starter, yes. Absolutely. That first part about falling out of favor and, he's going to leave for free in the summer, I think that's, a bit far-fetched. Now, following this, Mikel Rico from Sport came out saying that De Jong trains the same way that he plays. In training, he is not giving 100%. The Dutchman is not working at full strength and may be cautious because of his injury. Until he overcomes this obstacle, he'll find it very difficult for him to be a starter. So, the reason why Frenkie is not starting is that he trains the way that he plays in the games, very conservative, very, cautious of his ankle, and that's why he is not a starter. Until he overcomes that fear, he's going to be the same stagnated De Jong that we've been seeing this season. Of course, this is now following after his good, 25 half-an-hour cameo against Mallorca, so hopefully now the tide is turning. And the final report is this absolute waffle here from Catalunya Radio, saying that Barcelona are willing to let Frenkie de Jong leave at a very low price, even for free. They would be satisfied with a 20 million euro offer for him. Now, I want to say this to the Catalunya media. Listen up, you bunch of freaking prats. If Barcelona want to sell Frenkie de Jong this summer, why are you starting off his price so low and making it seem that we would even be willing to let him leave for free? Like, you're not giving Barcelona any help or any leverage whatsoever when we barely have any leverage at this point. Also says that Barcelona will not let Frenkie de Jong reach the end of his contract in 2026. They are willing to take anything to offload his salary. The renewal proposal sent over a year ago is no longer valid, as the player never replied. So everyone's saying Barcelona retracted the renewal offer. That is now confirmed by basically everyone. What's clear is that by 2025, by the end of the summer, Frenkie de Jong is either going to be renewed or he's going to be gone. He could be gone in so many ways. Sent to the stands for the rest of the season, leave for free, leave for a low price, leave for a fair price. All those options are on the table, or he can renew his contract and stay. So we'll wait and see with Frenkie. Again, he is one of the club captains. He's one of the big figures in the Barcelona dressing room. Every time he comes out in the media, everything he says publicly is that he loves the club, he wants to stay. But the fact that Barcelona offered him a very good renewal to begin with for a year, and did not reply, it does not look good for Frenkie in my books. But again, we'll wait and see how things turn out. In my opinion, I would offer him a renewal. If he does not want to stay, he can do one. I would not, overpay him. I would not underpay him. I would fairly pay him. If he wants to take it, cool. If not, sell him in the summer. I think with 1 year left in his deal, Frenkie de Jong is worth around 50 million euros. We'll wait and see how important he is and how he does from now until the end of the season. That could definitely dictate his price as well. If he does well, maybe more. If he does worse, probably a lower fee. So we'll wait and see, but right now I think of his future really depends on himself and also a little bit on Barcelona as well. They've made it quite clear in the media multiple times that they want him to stay, but he's not the one negotiating with Barcelona. So we'll see what happens with Frenkie, but right now his future is definitely in the air, and only time will tell what will happen in his future as well. Now, another player's future at the moment that is uncertain is the future of Andreas Christensen. Of course, 2 weeks ago, Mateo Merito came out saying that Barcelona's plan right now is to offload Christensen either in January or in the summer, and now we're waiting to see how things develop. He's still injured, of course. Demarcio from Sky Sports Italy came out saying that Serie A clubs are keeping a close eye on the situation of Andreas Christensen, mainly Juventus, Inter, and AC Milan. But following these reports, Andreas Christensen did an interview with a Danish outlet, and I believe he was asked the first question, did you want to stay at Barcelona? He said yes, and he goes on to say in this interview that I'll be fit and ready soon. I don't want to put too much pressure on myself, but I'm back on the pitch now. It's a start. Now it's about building strength and getting comfortable, but I feel very good. When was the last time he played without any pain? He said, oh, I cannot remember, honestly. I would say during my first season at Barcelona, the 22-23 season. So last season, pretty much the whole entire year, he was playing with pain. He then asked on how he sees 2024 as an all, saying that chaotic but educational. You take care of your body when it needs it. I should have done that already last season. I've been playing with an injury for a while now. You need to listen to your body and recover. Again, that was quite clear last summer. So he's saying that he wants to stay. He's saying that he's back on the pitch as well. So I think, again, like Frenkie de Jong, Christensen's future will be dictated with how he performs on the pitch. Because right now the club is saying, oh, we have Inigo, you have Kubarsi, Idaho's coming back, Eric Garcia, Kunde. We don't need Christensen, again, because the media is as reactionary as Barca fans. I'd be patient, wait and see what happens when he comes back. I would say in January, if someone offers, 50 million for him, the club would be very, very tempted because they're already thinking about letting him go. A very good offer for him with only, I believe, a year or two left on his deal. That might tempt things, but if no one offers that, which I don't expect anyone to offer, I see him finishing the season where, of course, he can definitely dictate his future at the club based on his performances on the pitch. Let's now discuss some contract renewal updates around the first team at Barcelona. Firstly, on the contract renewal of Pedri. Now, Fernando Polo of Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Pedri's contract renewal is on the right track. The new contract could be until 2030. There is great optimism in the club to announce it shortly after the last contest between the two parties. He is a key piece for the sporting and club project. Barcelona are very satisfied with the effectiveness of the specific physical plan that they have made for Pedri. It is a strength plan supervised by Julio Toulouse, who are responsible for physical fitness, concluded that he did not benefit from exercise resting, but quite the opposite, and resting for 2 days left him predisposed from injuries. So again, new fitness plan now is the reason why Pedri is staying fit all the time, which of course is absolutely fantastic, and renewal is well on track. Hopefully we can reach a full agreement by the end of the year. Same with Xavi as well. That way we can focus on Frenkie and Araujo during the new year 2025, probably from January until March, I would say. But again, everything's on track for Pedri to continue at Barcelona. And the final contract renewal update is on the contract renewal of Gerard Martin. Now, Fernand Corazon Sport has come out saying that Barcelona and Gerard Martin have now reached a preliminary agreement weeks ago to extend his contract until 2028. The new deal includes a salary raise and a €100 million release clause. The deal has not been officially announced yet. The club is waiting for financial fair play to approve it to be able to finalize it. And once he renews, Gerard Martin will remain part of the first team dynamics, but with a reserve team number. The reason why Barcelona are renewing Martin's contract is because he's coming up to an age now where he can no longer be a Barcelona B player if he does continue on next season. Also, increase his value as well. So I don't see Gerard Martin continuing at Barcelona past this season, but again, the renew his contract, we're going to have some sort of value in him, dictate his future, but we can sell him on for a percent of a future sale, buyback option, sell on clause, all this sort of stuff. So it's all to retain his value at the end of the day. But you know what? Not too bothered by him. I don't think he'll pass and survive this season, but we'll wait and see how things do turn out. But again, Gerard Martin will renew his contract with Barcelona for an additional 3 years until 2028. Let's now discuss some of the injury updates around the first team at Barcelona. First update is on Ronald Araujo, with Heung-Min from AS coming out saying that Ronald Araujo now is very close to returning. He will be back in the squad list either for the match against Real Betis on Saturday or against Dortmund next week. I have a feeling he'll be in the squad list this weekend, but will not play. Probably just travel, stay with the team, vibes and get used to traveling, and then maybe come off the bench against Dortmund. I do think he's now on track to start the game against Leganes, of course, which is before the Atletico Madrid game, but having Araujo back is massive. Kubarsi and Inigo are playing every single second of every single game. They need some rest and rotation, and also some competition as well. And also, it is our first team captain for the rest of the season returning, so fantastic to have him back, and we'll see how he adjusts to Flick's style of play, if he'll be able to adapt, or if he'll have to, not be able to adapt, then Barcelona have to sell him, because again, he's in this very similar situation to that of Frenkie de Jong. Final injury update that we do have is on Ansu Fati, with having Miguel coming out saying that Ansu Fati is likely to return in the next 2 weeks. Of course, 2 weeks ago, he was injured for 4 weeks. It's now been 2 weeks, so he's on track, essentially. We'll wait and see if he comes back, at least gets the green light before the Atletico Madrid game. I think that's probably the priority and aim for Ansu, to be fully fit before the Christmas break, and then once the Christmas break ends and we come back to action, he can be fully fit, ready to go to help Barcelona as much as he can. Let's now discuss some of the news surrounding Barcelona over the past week. First up, there has been a new design leaked for the second kit next season. The Dani Olmo one was the initial leak, and the new Lamine Yamal one is how the kit will look now. Basically, they've taken off the stripes from the sleeve, and they've added a little bit of a V collar to the shirt. I honestly like the Lamine Yamal one much better than the Dani Olmo one. I think the Dani Olmo one is very, very plain with that, a little bit of a collar coming in with the V1 as well. It looks a bit cleaner. It looks very similar to the collar that we have on the black kit this season, the second kit from this season, pretty much. I would have liked to have seen the strip on the sleeve as well. They might bring that back, but again, minor change to the kit, and again, nothing is finally approved yet. We're probably at, I would say, 80% completion for the second kit design, and wait and see if there's any other changes that will be implemented in the future. We also have an update on the new Spotify Camp Nou. Again, right now we are on track to return, hopefully end of February, beginning of March-ish. But of course, Barcelona now are planning long-term for the stadium, mainly it being a big factor in the 2030 World Cup. Now, Gabriel Sanz from Deportivo came out saying the new Spotify Camp Nou is going to be an option to host the opening game or the final of the 2030 FIFA World Cup. The other two candidates are the Santiago Bernabeu and the Hassan II Stadium in Casablanca. So again, they're probably going to give it to the Bernabeu, but I think the Camp Nou is much better. It's going to be bigger as well. We'll wait and see. Once the Camp Nou is fully completed and everyone sees it in 2026, that will give it the real true effect. Right now, you're going to say, oh, Bernabeu is better because it's done and it's completed, where the Camp Nou is basically just scram right now. But since this World Cup's in 2030, I would pace ourselves for this. This stadium is going to be absolutely monumental. It will be the best stadium in the world by far, and it's not going to be an argument either. And we'll wait and see how it does look. I cannot wait to go to that stadium. But again, definitely an option to host the World Cup final in 2030. Now, the final topic that I want to discuss for the end off this video is in regards to the animation stand, which of course has not been at the last 2 home games against Las Palmas and against Brest in the Champions League. In the Brest game, that section was completely empty, but in the Las Palmas game, Barcelona sold tickets in the animation stand, and yet again, they are no longer allowed in the stadium until they pay the 21,000 euro fine that they are owed and that they promised Barcelona they would pay. But since now being banned for 2 games, they've now released an official statement onto why they're doing this and what's their thought process. I gotta tell you what, it's not looking good, bro. We're gonna go through the letter and I'll react to it and give you guys my opinion, my analysis on it as well. They come out saying that it's not about the fines that we don't want to pay. There's much more to it. They're selling the clubs economically and socially. Now, this letter is quite long, by the way, so bear with me. Dear members of FC Barcelona, members of the league, and all the culés around the world, there have been many comments and opinions shared in recent days regarding the closure of our section in the stadium. It is time for us to speak out. After decades of supporting the team at its best, and above all, during its worst moments, both on and off the pitch, we have been denied the opportunity to celebrate and enjoy the club's 125th anniversary. This is not just about the economic sanctions that we refuse to pay. It goes far beyond that. Bit by bit, the weight and influence of members historically held and are entitled to are being diminished. There's a lack of communication, a lack of disregard for us, and a rejection of proposals without discussions. The habitual resale of tickets continues unchecked. The football atmosphere in the stands have been disoriented, replaced by tourism offering artificial celebrity waves. The club's historic colors are, I gotta, pull up the next slide, are being changed purely for the marketing purposes. Decisions are being made without transparency or conciliation to the members. Any free expression or dissension opinion is now being hidden. Emotional and family roots are being abandoned in favor of maintaining appearances. All of these activities reveal the intentions of the current board of directors to prioritize a business model that harms the social fabric most loyal and closest to the club. They are willing to sell the club both economically and socially. Changing our stadium anthem is yet another step in the enrolling of the club's social identity. If not to act now, the club could ultimately destroy what is most important. The dignity of the club is not up for grabs. The history is non-negotiable. The value of the badge and the feeling of the members and fans cannot be compounded. We will fight for our rights as members, just as everyone who cares about the club should do. The future of Barcelona is in our hands. Holy crap. Alright, so they're basically saying that, oh, they're changing so much, blah, blah, blah. We want to look. They're being bitches, pretty much. They're basically saying, oh, first of all, the anthem they changed it is now more modernized and it sounds better. And again, we can't have the same anthem for the next billion years. Same thing with them changing the club badge back in 2002. They're also complaining about, oh, how they make decisions without us, which is not true. The club have already announced yesterday, by the way, they're holding an assembly on December 21st, the day of the Atletico Madrid game, for the members to approve the new Nike renewal. So all this is just them crying. They're essentially doing what's very common around people that take L's, and that is playing the victim card. The deadline was there to pay the 21k fine, and the club were saying to them, look, we're willing to talk and see what you're upset about and come to an agreement, but we're not going to talk to you until you pay the 21,000 euro fine, which again you are owed because of all the mistakes that you've done over the past year, accumulating all these fines. You have to pay it back. That's a close perspective. Maybe you could agree or disagree with that, but the animation stand agree with that to pay it. But now all of a sudden they don't want to pay it because they want to have a bigger impact and bigger perspective. All this stuff about having Nazi banners, they have, so they can, have Nazi banners and racist songs, but as soon as you want to modernize the club's anthem, they start losing and pissing their balls. I mean, it's hypocrisy, and it's them playing the victim card. I don't know when this is gonna end. Again, my thought process, I think the best solution would be like, a player to come and pay the fine. That way the two, animation stand in the club can, speak again. Until someone pays that money, the board ain't gonna talk to them whatsoever, and we're gonna be, sitting here without animation in the games. And again, against Las Palmas, it was quite clear the team needed to be riled up, and no one was there to do that. I think the animation stand is a very, very important factor and very important to our home games. I can see their point about tourism as well, because the club is now becoming more of a tourist spot than it is, for the fans. It's very easy still to get tickets, and some, away fans do still sneak in. It's not like Eintracht Frankfurt anymore, but some still do sneak in. But when they do sneak in, they get caught out, they get kicked out. So I mean, every team in the world have away fans in the home section. It's very difficult to keep all of them out. When you see one, call them out. Security will boot them. It's not, I think they're going way over the top with this. I just think, pay the fine and then go speak with Laporta. Set up a meeting with the board and, make these matters very clear to them. They'll give you the rebuttals. I understand the club's values. I understand the club's moral, and I'm not seeing any radical change. There is nothing I would be worried about that's a change that's saying, oh my god, this is, against the club's morals. I hate change. When the league format now in the Champions League, VAR and all this stuff. I don't hate VAR. I don't mind it, but I'd rather just keep the game the way it is. 40 team World Cup, all this jibber jabber. Club World Cup now in freaking June. I liked it how it was before, and I like to and I hate change. I like to improve the games, like VAR, goal line technology, offside technology. That's fine, but changing everything, I don't like. And the board have done nothing to do that. I mean, they have made nothing but upgrades on this club, and they're just, I think, playing the victim card here. So we'll see how things do turn out against a very delicate situation, and until someone makes that first move, we could be in a stalemate for quite some time now, and this will definitely affect, again, home games for Barcelona. So that was my reaction to the Barcelona news over the past week. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course in the comments down below as well. Let me know your thoughts on everything we did discuss. The main thing I want first, of course, is on those transfer links: Salah, Heung-Min, Omar Marmoush, Xavi Simons, Nico Williams, any of those players that really scream to you that should be joining Barcelona or not. Let me know your thoughts. And secondly and finally, on the futures of both Frenkie de Jong and Christensen. What do you think will happen, and what would you want to happen? Would you want Christensen to stay or go, or would you want Frenkie de Jong to renew or leave? And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time on the channel. Take care, and Forza Barca.